Welcome to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 217 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, there's so much audio to choose from for a fancy intro this week. I couldn't come up with one, so I
oh my god, dude. What a post race from Saturday with the Noah Gragson beer chug through the Kyle Busch audio, the Chase Elliott audio, Denny Hamlin audio. Oh my goodness, it's overwhelming. I didn't know what was gonna come next.
Yeah.
It was just a mountain of information coming out of Martinsville, and I enjoyed it. I ranted about it, and I'm here to rant some more apparently. So,
well, last week we predicted that this was going to be the race of the year, and I think it didn't disappoint, James.
No, I don't know if it was the race of the year.
Well, it was the weekend of the
definitely the weekend of the year.
Maybe not, because Bristol was pretty good still.
Yeah, Bristol was really fun. There was a lot of good weekends this year, but this one, as far as drama is concerned, you gotta love Martinsville being this race. I mean, the fans came out, the track had the biggest attendance in 5 years, and they were not disappointed by the show they got, and they got to boo Denny Hamlin to boot. So
right.
Man, what a fun. I just love Martinsville. I know we talk it up all the time, but man, it never Martinsville just doesn't disappoint.
Well, and it was one of those races too that, the first 300 laps, maybe even 400 laps, I'm like, man, maybe we just aren't going to get the show today like we did on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday
maybe it's
great.
Just going to turn out to be a regular race. We locked Chase Elliott in early. Denny Hamlin was all but locked in. And we got one spot, and it was Truex all day long for that spot. So you're kind of thinking, it's going to just, whatever. The guys that needed to compete for that spot, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, they weren't doing anything. They weren't up front. Keselowski wasn't up there. And then that last 100 laps hit, man, and it's like, here's what we've been waiting for.
Things started to shake up. Hamlin gets spun. Brad and his team had that pit stop, and all of a sudden that 2-car came alive, and I thought, holy smokes, he's going to find a way to get back to Phoenix.
I thought Brad was going to pull it off, but
yeah, I was really pumped. And we haven't even mentioned the guy who dang near stole the show.
Yeah.
The hack.
Yeah. The hack. Alex
Bowman.
Alex Bowman gets the win. Duels with Denny Hamlin a little bit. I had to hold off the charge of Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski at the end. And Kyle Busch, all of those guys up front, and manages to get it done. And Alex Bowman, that's 4 on a year for him, right?
Four wins. He's led a whopping 167 laps on the season. So to put that into perspective, he's got almost half of Kyle Larson's wins, and not even Larson's led 2,300 laps. Compare that to the 167. I mean, he's getting the job done. The closer, I guess we can call him.
Right.
If you don't want to call him the hack, if you're not a Denny Hamlin fan, I guess you can give him the moniker the closer now, because he's done it a bunch of times this year.
Yeah. Didn't really see it coming in this one, and I mean, he made the charge there at the end. He led 9 laps.
Yeah, well, and Eric, another funny little nugget from Alex Bowman is he ended Kyle Larson's other potential 4-race winning streak.
That's true.
At Pocono, when Larson caught the blown tire in turn 3 and gave Bowman that win, which he won late. He also won the Richmond race late. Just incredible. Like, I don't know what to do with Bowman. I don't think he's a hack, as Denny Hamlin says. But it's just, what a weird season for him. Feast or famine. He's 14th in points as they stand. He's averaging a 15th place finish on the year. So it's not like he's setting the world on fire, but the dude's second in the series and wins now, tied with Martin Truex Jr. So you can't be super disappointed if you're Alex Bowman. This was a heck of a year for him. Just to add to that win total is pretty cool, if you ask me.
James, I have a question for you. Is it a bad take if after the race you call a driver who has twice as many wins as you a hack?
Well, honestly, I don't mind Denny being upset with him because I do think Bowman raced him a little.
Yeah.
He raced him rough. I mean, he couldn't pass him, and then made a little bit of a racing incident.
I think he messed up. I mean, he tried to run him out of room, but he wasn't trying to wreck him.
He didn't want to wreck him.
But the problem is, James, is that this is a guy who also didn't try to wreck Chase Elliott a few years ago. And I would call Bowman's less blatant than Denny's on Chase.
Yeah. My issue with Denny was the Twitter rant that he went on afterwards. It's just incoherent.
Wait, are you saying we shouldn't feel sorry for millionaire Denny? We don't know what he's gone through, James.
What? Yeah, I know. And it's like, have you not paid attention to Alex Bowman's story and where he's come from? He's done it the old-fashioned way too, and made it to the Hendrick, made it into the Hendrick camp. And
suddenly, Alex Bowman, the guy everybody hates. Now he's the fan favorite.
Yeah, and honestly, I have no problem. Like I went after Denny on Twitter a couple of times on Sunday night because I just felt like he was wrong.
Yeah.
Because I have no problems with Denny Hamlin. He's one of the greats of our generation. But
I just think it's a really bad take to talk about how somebody's a hack when they've won twice as many races this season as you have.
Exactly. And no offense to Denny Hamlin, but you're going to Phoenix, you've got bigger fish to fry here, and your history is 0 for 6.
Right.
Like, you have had opportunities to win this championship for over half a decade, and you've never got it done. So why don't you quit worrying about Alex Bowman and just go and focus on what you got to focus on? Win your championship, man. You've got a shot to do it. I just don't understand why he's worried about this at this point.
No,
it shouldn't have escalated. And I think where you're going to go probably with this next is, why did you have to drive up on him during the burnout? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it because one, I mean, it's a pretty dick thing to do. Two, I mean, I'm all right with, this is Martinsville. It's a short track. I'm all right with the
tempers,
the Bowman Gray aspect of it, Mm-hmm. This is what NASCAR wants at the Coliseum next year. So, I mean, this is what they got. They got exactly what they wanted here.
Want the madhouse.
Yeah. I mean, little risky because there usually are people on the front stretch and stuff, but I didn't see Denny get close to anybody that he was causing any issues with. And
I thought if Bowman had unbuckled his belts, was my other.
But I mean, Denny didn't hit him. All he did was he even eased up to the front end of his car before he did the burnout. So he wasn't trying to hit Bowman. He was trying to make a point.
Frustrated.
He wanted to tell him he was number one twice through the windshield. If you guys haven't seen the video, the double bird is pretty glorious.
The double bird was awesome. I just, I don't know. I just feel like, man, you are. I'll say it again. Like, you are 0 for everything for the championship. Like, let this go and go focus on your championship. You don't need any more of whatever this is. I'm not going to call it a distraction because I don't think Alex Bowman's going to do anything on Sunday.
No, Bowman doesn't have a beef with Denny still. He doesn't have a beef with him.
No, I don't think he cares. He won the race.
Exactly.
It's fine. What I was talking to you about, Eric, in our chat, and what I find interesting is all of the old guys right now. I don't know what it is, if it's their it's just like their attitude or their behavior, but the fans are really turned against the old guys.
Well, here's the thing, James. I don't know if you listened to Door Bumper Clear this week, but I had to because our buddy Jeff Gluck was on.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. I do plan to.
I will give it away that this is my shout out for the week is Jeff Gluck on Door Bumper Clear. So guys, check it out. I'll repeat it again later in the show. But Gluck did a great job on the show, and they were talking on the show this week about Jeff brought up that Denny basically at this point in his career doesn't care what people think of him. And he's right. I mean, Denny's been really outspoken this year. He hasn't held back. He doesn't have NASCAR fighting him, but I don't remember if it was Brett Griffin or if it was Freddie Kraft that brought it up. But it's not that he doesn't care. It's not that he doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. It's that he doesn't have to worry about the money. He has what they called on the show FU money. And
he does now. He really does.
Doesn't care. He has no reason to care.
Right?
Exactly.
He's got Jordan.
And so, Denny's getting booed. Yeah, he looked like a tool. But I'll say it again. I love this type of personality. We want this in the sport.
We do. We love it. Yeah, absolutely.
I love seeing him fired up at the end of the race. It's great.
Oh, I do too. Like I said, I have no problem with what he did post race. It was his Twitter rant that really got me upset.
What shocked me is that he got booed. I mean, I
Well,
know it's not his home track, but it's this.
It's like he said, Chase Elliott fans don't forget.
Right, exactly.
I think there's some of that going on.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Denny was cheered for.
Short track racing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that was post the Chase Elliott incident
Right.
too. So yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, it's not his home track, but it's home state.
I guess the only guys less liked than Hamlin are Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Joey Logano.
Right.
So, you got to punch up sometimes, and you'll get the fans backing. But man, I tell you, what I don't know, man. But these old guys, I just don't understand. We'll talk about Kyle Busch too, but Harvick is hated by the fans.
Yeah.
Hamlin's not doing well. And when you think about it, Eric, those are the only guys left who have that bleep you money, like you
Right.
brought up. There's not a whole lot of drivers that have that anymore. And it's just very, I always thought that Kyle Busch would eventually get the Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson treatment late in his career, but and Denny too, and Harvick, like it's not going to happen for those guys now.
Yeah,
Harvick has stirred the pot too hard with Chase. Kyle's doing Kyle's
still got
stuff.
some time, and I'll tell you what, Kyle is going to be a much more sensitive person come Daytona 500 weekend, James. Much more sensitive, because obviously he will have some sensitivity training during the off season, required by NASCAR due to a word he uttered during a post race interview.
The R word. We can say the R word.
Yeah, first of all, let me say I will not dismiss this. Kyle, I was okay with NASCAR penalizing Kyle. I figured there was going to be some penalty. This is a slap on the wrist. Nothing, big deal for Kyle. He didn't even lose $1 out of this deal.
Which is crazy to me but
I will give Kyle the not benefit of the doubt, but the way he said it, he wasn't trying to say it in a derogatory way. Problem is that word's derogatory.
Just don't say it.
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
don't have to say it. You can say he was acting dumb. He was acting stupid. You don't have to.
Exactly. And I will give Kyle credit. He didn't do the Kyle Larson thing and wait 24 hours to apologize. He did apologize pretty much right away.
If you read between the lines on that Twitter post, that didn't sound like I would like to apologize. Isn't I apologize?
True, I suppose.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, I guess that's getting a little too deep into it, but
I mean, I don't think the punishment should be harsher than it is. It could have been. I wouldn't have been upset about it, but
the precedent was set by Haley Deegan, so I guess you're in the same company as Haley Deegan when you're throwing that stuff around.
Yep.
If that's where the company you want to keep Kyle, when you keep doing these things, and that's where you want, like, you are a 2-time champion of the Cup Series. You don't need to, I don't know, you just don't need to be hanging out in that club. Did you hear the audio from that interview? I did. Yeah.
So that interview, for anybody who doesn't know, is being done at the bullpen. They have basically a gate they put up on pit road. The reporters can come and talk to the drivers. And usually it's like the top 5 in the race, or used to be the top 10. I think it's top 5 now with the COVID procedures. And then the chase drivers or the playoff drivers will usually be required to come in there too. So a couple things I wanted to point out from that little interview down there. First of all, is Dustin Long egging him on when he says he should go beat Keselowski's ass, and he says, "Why don't you?" Matt Crafton says you guys should beat him, and then Gluck chiming in that if he is going to go fight Keselowski, please let him know so he can video it. So a couple of good moments from that.
I really wish they would have tried to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, James, we had this discussion off air.
Go ahead.
Who wins in a fight between Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch?
I said I got Brad in round 3.
Yeah,
I got Brad in round 3 because, and in my reasons being, Brad's got that Midwestern, like, farmer type strength.
Yeah,
is my hypothesis.
So
there,
I'll give you another.
Kyle's probably got him by what, 30 pounds though. 40 pounds?
Kyle's a lot bigger than Brad. Brad's not very tall for one. Kyle's pretty tall. Kyle's built a little better than he might appear to be when you start matching him up against other drivers.
He looks a little soft. Kyle looks a little soft to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's got
squishy.
I think he's got some anger in him, though.
He might have anger in him, but I think he's squishy.
And just another DBC spoiler: TJ Majors, who is Brad's buddy and now his spotter, said that Brad doesn't have any business fighting anybody. So. So yeah, I don't know.
That's great.
I think I mean, I think it would be a pretty good slap fight. Let's just say
It
that
might be a
much.
good. Well, it'd be better than Joey Logano's slap fight.
Yeah.
Whatever the heck that was.
Right.
But yeah. No, that's a good point, TJ. I'll take TJ's word for it. I just feel like Brad's got that. We take pride here in the Midwest of
Neither of them are fighters. They're both mouth runners,
No,
is what
God.
they are.
There's nobody in that garage that's a real fighter,
No.
other than maybe Suarez.
Yeah,
Suarez scared me when he tackled McDowell the way he did, because McDowell's a big dude, and Suarez dropped him like he was nothing. And I was like, whoa, that guy can fight. Okay, I wouldn't mess with that dude. He can fight.
Yeah. I mean, everybody talks about Ryan Newman. We've really never, all we've seen Ryan Newman do is receive Clint Boyer's fists.
That's
So.
well, he's got no neck. Like
Right.
he can't, it's not like he can move. He doesn't have a whole lot of mobility.
Right.
I love that we're talking boxing
Right.
in our NASCAR podcast.
We don't have to worry about Tony anymore. I mean, Tony was legit when it came to fighting.
Yeah, he would fight. He'd put his hands on you.
We know that Richard Childress is a fighter, so
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great one. Yeah. Hold my watch.
Yep.
That was that. Kyle was on the receiving end of that one, and rumor has it Richard did win that one.
Yeah.
From bystanders that I've read about. But
Kyle had a black eye the next week, so that was 7 days later.
If I could go back in time and watch something, that would be on my list.
Yeah.
That would be on my list. Yep.
Let's talk about some other guys. Martin Truex Jr. we talked about, kind of locked in all day, and then has trouble late. Manages to power through.
Execution issues, I felt like, for them. But Martin was really good though, and got through the field. And we should mention his teammate Denny Hamlin did come through the field, started at the back. So the Gibbs cars were really good on the day. I mean, even
Denny Hamlin came through in the back at least twice.
A couple times, yeah.
He started in the back, and I believe he had 2 speeding penalties too, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He had one early and sent him into the back again. But so many cars were lapped at that point. He was in the 20s by then, so
right,
that helped him a little bit. But Truex was good. I we'll talk championship a little bit later. I think they're going to be, they're going to be a threat at Phoenix, and I after seeing what I saw at Martinsville on Sunday, I just wonder, that team seems a little. How Chase Elliott's team seemed calm and composed last year, when they had their pit road misgivings. I just don't get the same vibe from the 19. I feel like they're a little bit more scrambled.
Yeah.
Was my opinion of watching it. I could be. I mean, I'm not down there, so
right.
That's my opinion.
Just looking at the infraction sheet. Yeah, Denny Hamlin was sent to the rear at the beginning of the race. Speeding on pit road, lap 62. Lap 135, Kyle Larson speeding on pit road.
I forgot about that one. Yep.
Kyle Busch speeding on pit road, lap 264.
How would you like to have been Kyle Larson on Sunday, just out for a Sunday cruise?
Right, it was pretty nice
in that environment. Yeah.
Quinn Hoff got a 5-lap penalty for spinning another guy out in front of a safety vehicle.
That one was really dumb. Yeah, I was just gonna say the safety vehicle being right there was really dumb. You don't need to be doing that out there.
And then Kyle Larson again, lap 380, speeding penalty. So yeah, it wasn't a walk in the park for those guys, but
no, not by any means.
What else in this one, James? Again, it was kind of uneventful for the first 3/4 of it. I mean, first 400 laps or so. Once we got to 100 laps to go, it got pretty wild.
Yeah, the witching hour kind of came out.
Yeah.
The field kept getting jumbled a bunch of times. I mean, Chase got dumped late, and gosh, I mean, I'm trying to think. It got really action packed. Kyle Larson got involved in a little kerfuffle on lap 462 that I remember. And of course, Ricky Spinhouse was making the rounds. He was all fired up at the end of the race too. Speaking of him,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say, I think things really picked up. Really picked up for us when Keselowski spun Chase.
Yeah, when Keselowski spun Chase. Yep. I'm looking back at the stat sheet right here. 456.
Yeah.
Yep. That one kind of got things going because Chase was dominating this race.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Chase was going to run away with this thing and make that's. I mean, that's really what it was. Is Chase was making it uninteresting because he was already locked in.
Well, he got the 2 stages, and as soon as he was advanced, I mean, he could kind of ease up a little bit because him and Larson were both locked in. So I mean, it wasn't his fault he spun. It wasn't Brad's fault he spun. I think they just had a little bit of a racing deal. Brad
Yeah.
obviously slid up the track, got into him, but
I mean,
Chase, no worries. Chase was fine. He knew where he was in the standings. He was good.
yeah, I would argue. I mean, the incidents we saw up front in this one certainly were racing deals. It was a
Oh, they
product
were
of
hard
Martinsville.
racing. Yeah.
It wasn't Saturday afternoon in the truck series, which we'll get to.
Jeez, oh Pete's, man. But you know what, Eric? We talked about this last week a little bit, but to bring it back, I love that the non-playoff guys raced this race hard.
Yeah.
And they didn't give the playoff guys a whole heck of a lot of slack. I mean,
No,
you see it.
There's a difference, and again, we'll come back to this. I guarantee it. We'll come back to it in about two races. But there's a difference between racing playoff guys like you belong in the race with them, and just outright hurting their day. You know, we definitely saw the other two series where there were incidents that playoff drivers were taken out in unnecessary incidents involving non-playoff drivers. Whereas this race was a legit battle for the finish. Or for the lead. Yeah. It wasn't just stupidity.
Yeah. And early in the race, Ryan Blaney had trouble with Austin Dillon.
Yeah.
But that was just a racing incident. This is a tough track, and unfortunately, this is the last time we'll see 750 horsepower, at least at this track for a little while.
Yeah.
But it's hard to drive, and that was just a typical racing deal. And unfortunately for Ryan, he shouldn't have been back there. And this race is a whole lot different for him if he finishes off Kansas, in a better situation than he did. And now he's not advancing, but I thought they'd show up a little bit better. And racing in the back with those guys that's what's going to happen. You really shouldn't be back there, but the fact that you put yourself in that position. Hamlin was dodging wrecks too.
Right. It's no different than when Kyle Busch said, I would say, despite the ineloquence in his post-race interview on pit road, his post-race interview on TV, I thought was very gracious for Kyle, where he essentially said that they killed their chances last week at Kansas. Mm-hmm. And again, like with Blaney, had you not been in a situation in Kansas that you were, you wouldn't have had to worry about it as much here at Martinsville. So
exactly. Yep.
So back to Denny, again, racing deal. Does Denny have a right to be upset though? Because we're talking a guy that was essentially locked into this thing, and he came close to falling out of this thing. With that, yeah. I mean, if that incident would have went a little worse, he might have fallen out.
Yeah, I think he has a right to be upset. I don't think Bowman raced him 100% true there. Right. I mean, it was a race. He didn't intentionally wreck him. That's not what I mean. I just don't.
He didn't cut him any slack.
No, and I think he was a little bit over his skis a little bit in that deal. But he's got a fast race car. What the heck are you supposed to do? You got a guy with a fast race car. He's going to try to get to the front. I don't mind Denny Hamlin being mad. I worry about the execution of his anger sometimes. But yeah, he's got absolutely every right to be upset with Bowman and have at it. But I just don't like how he went about it, honestly.
What about the end of this race, James? We got to see a restart right at the end, shootout between Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski. Kyle Busch takes the outside on the restart. Brad Keselowski starts behind Bowman. And kind of expecting a little bit of a rough up situation, and we didn't get it. Bowman got out ahead and raced clean to the win. Of course, Keselowski and Kyle weren't quite clean to the end, but that's a different story. Triggering Kyle's comments after the race. But were you surprised that we didn't see a little bit more aggressive racing at the end, or what?
Right. Yeah. No. I really thought Brad was going to drive him deep.
I thought Brad was going to go 3 wide. Although I will say, they pointed out on the broadcast, Dale Jr. pointed it out, these guys are not stupid, and they were starting so low on the restarts on the front stretch. No other series was doing that, but the Cup Series was.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, what Hendrick has going for them is the same thing at Martinsville that they have on the short tracks. They can drive their cars in so deep, so much deeper than everybody else. And it's just, you're not going to get to the bumper on Bowman if he executes. And kudos to Alex Bowman. He executed the last restart perfect. Brad couldn't get to him. Kyle couldn't get to him, and the rest is history. Those guys are out. So I think if they could have pushed him, they would have. But
that's what I was going to say. I think what you saw here, again, is the difference between the experience level of Cup drivers and let's say the Truck Series, because both Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski knew there was nothing to gain by roughing Bowman up into turn 1 with 2 laps to go. Just not. You have to wait to the last lap to do it. Otherwise, you're going to get hit back. And when they had the opportunity to do it, Bowman had already pulled away.
Yep, he couldn't get to him. I still think you got to get to him I think you got to get to him as early as possible. I could be wrong, but I think you got to try to get him and get away.
Yeah. The problem is Martinsville sets it up to where it's hard to get away.
It's hard. Oh yeah. I mean, we've seen it with Logano and Truex a couple of years ago. They were banging all the way through the corner and all the way off. I mean, it was something else.
If Kyle could have gotten to the back of Bowman going into turn 3 without cutting through the infield to do it, he would have done it.
Yeah, he would have pushed him up the track. Absolutely. And ironic that, Harvick got to his quarter panel 1 year ago in this race and completely dumped him.
Right.
And Kyle could not get to the quarter panel. But I don't think Kyle or Brad would have spun Bowman. They would have pushed him, but they wouldn't have spun him.
Yeah,
they couldn't get to him.
They'd have roughed him up out of the way.
Moot.
It would have been more of a Joey Logano Martin Truex Jr. deal where they rubbed the line, but nobody reps.
Yeah, root and gouge to the top. But yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. I was kind of hoping. I was rooting for Brad a little bit.
Yeah.
Just sentimental reasons. I really appreciate his driving. I really am impressed with his playoff run. I was kind of hoping he'd be the one to kind of find a way in, but. It's still kind of fun seeing Bowman steal one and kind of, mix it up a little bit too. So,
right.
Good race.
I wanted to see another win and get in situation, but again, didn't get
Saturday was so much fun. I know we're going to talk about it here in a second, but I was hoping to see something similar like we did Saturday night.
Anything else with this one, James?
I hate that we're leaving it behind.
I know, right?
But I don't think we've got I think we covered almost all of it, man.
Okay. Let's talk about the other two then. We'll go backwards. The Xfinity Series raced on Saturday night at Martinsville. Dead on Tools 250. What's that?
Love this race. I love this race. It was the best race of the weekend.
Yeah, it was a great race. We got to see a little bit of the stupidity, but at the end, what can you say? What can you say about the clean race? James, especially coming off of the Truck Series race earlier in the day, where it was just a cluster F. This race, tell me two drivers who didn't show in that race better than Noah Gragson and Austin Cindric that they are ready to be Cup Series drivers.
Did you have Noah Gragson being the cleanest, most professional driver of the weekend on your bingo card?
No,
I didn't. Well, how awesome was
when
that?
He took the outside, dude.
Winners take the front row. I love that. I love that. He drove the hell out of that car on that final restart.
I messaged you after the race when he was up on the fence, shotgunning the beer in front of the cheering crowd. I messaged you after the race and said, we need this guy in the Cup Series.
Yep.
And that is not something I said a year ago at this time, but
shoot, we didn't say that 9 months ago at the start of the season with him. Remember how this season started for him, Eric? It was not sunshine and roses. But he said last week he was going to come here and win this race, and dang, man, he did it. That was awesome. What a great run for him.
Great run for him. I think the kid has got a future in a Cup Series. Personality alone, he needs to be in there.
Yep.
But just a brilliant run again. Super clean race between both these drivers. I'll be honest, and this will come as no surprise to people that are regular listeners of this podcast. I liked the cluster F of the truck race earlier in the day, but I also very much liked this as well. I don't want to see what happened in the Truck Series race in all three races. I'm kind of okay with the Truck Series being the cluster F series. I'm all right with there being one of them, but don't do it in all three. But again, this was just a wonderful contrast. Just absolutely, I can't say enough about the finish of this thing.
Yeah, this was so good. I mean, he drove it up on the outside, took the front row, and just drove the heck out of that 9 car. Reminiscent of the guy in the Cup Series who drives the 9 car, who had to win last year at Martinsville as well. Yeah, and set the tone for his championship run right there. Very, very cool. I just was so shocked. And then he shotgunned the beer, and I had my in-laws over. We were watching the race. I had it on in the background. I'm like, guys, I got to see how Noah Gregson's gonna,
Right.
I said he's either gonna screw this up really bad or he's gonna pull off an upset. And I was kind of telling them, they don't watch NASCAR, so I'm kind of giving them the details on who Noah is a little bit. And then he shotgunned the beer afterwards, and I was like, oh, there you go, there he is. that's the real Noah Gragson.
Not only
right there.
shotgun the beer, James, but shotgun the beer from the crowd.
Yeah, and bit it with his own teeth.
I mean, to be fair, somebody did try to throw a White Claw at Denny Hamlin after the race too, but it was a little bit different situation.
Yeah, that's good. Great arm on that guy, though.
Yeah.
Great arm.
Guys, let's not throw stuff on the track. I'm sorry. Let's just not do that.
Unless it's Jeff Gordon at Talladega.
Right, yeah.
I
don't know. I'm a Red Wings fan. Grew up watching the Red Wings. The octopus on the ice is a staple. But we don't do that in NASCAR. Let's keep the beer bottles.
We don't throw octopi
octopi
on the track.
I mentioned that there was some stupidity in this race, James, and I would say that you couldn't don't have to look much farther than the 52 car of Spencer Boyd in this race.
Yeah.
I don't know why the hell you even think that it's a good idea to start a car that has been running 30th on back all day long. Come to think of it, he finished 30th. 30th on back all day long, and you stay out and try to restart in front of the field. Not once, James, but twice. And caused 2 separate yellows.
He wadded him up in turn 2 late.
Yeah, he cost Harrison Burton a chance at the championship.
Yeah, Harrison was having a really solid day.
Yep.
And completely ended his shots and almost took out some others.
Yeah, just stupid
in that deal.
Just
it was
stupid.
really dumb. I wasn't very pleased with him on that one. I know that well, we'll save it for later. He might come back up for you. I've got mine already too. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
He's not gonna be my jackass, but he's close.
Oh,
he's
close.
He's almost making the list.
Oh my God, Daniel Hemrick. I mean, he made the championship 4, but is he ever gonna win this race?
They were saying on Door Bumper
close.
Clear today that they want him to win the championship next weekend with a 2nd place finish.
That'd be fine. That'd be fine. Austin Dillon won an Xfinity championship without any wins.
Yeah,
I do remember that. But this is man, he's had such a great year, and I thought maybe for a minute there he might steal this one. But...
the best part about it is that the caution that cost him the race was the car he's going to drive for next year.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, that 11 car.
Yeah.
Wow, what a tough day for Justin Haley.
Yeah.
To have your championship hopes ruined by brake failure.
Yep.
Just struggled with it all day, had no pedal. Rear brakes were glowing from early on in this race.
Yeah.
That's just a bummer.
Brake problems in Martinsville aren't a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't survive Martinsville without any brakes.
Yeah.
You can't survive anywhere, but definitely Martinsville, we use them more than anywhere.
This one was super interesting too toward the end. Again, I'd say probably the last 100 laps or so. A lot of guys that needed to win to get in, running right up front. You had Justin Allgaier up there. You had Noah Gragson up there.
He gave it a heck of a ride. Brandon Jones needed to win.
Yep.
I thought Justin was in until Noah Gragson got the lead back. I mean, if Noah doesn't win this race, if he makes one slip, Justin Allgaier's in his spot for JR Motorsports.
Yeah.
And going to a track that he's really good at. So that you got to be bummed if you're that 7 team and Justin Allgaier, knowing how good you are at Phoenix, and this one's going to slip away from you to have a chance to win a title.
I will give credit to Dale Jr. on the broadcast, owning 2 cars that are battling for the final playoff spot, being able to stay composed and call the race somewhat fairly. Also to Jeff Burton, who doesn't get completely pissed off when his son gets taken out in stupidity. Those guys,
he was probably
do a good job.
Fired. Inside. Oh yeah.
We're gonna learn a lot more about the Burtons here pretty soon if you listen to Dirty Mo Media.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good podcast coming up.
Yeah. Pretty cool project they got coming up. I like that.
Yeah.
The Burtons. So that'd be really good.
Yep. Anything else with this one that's worth mentioning, James? I feel like this one I wanted to write down notes afterwards because there was so much to discuss and I don't remember most of it now.
Well, Sam Mayer gave that 8 car another ride.
Yeah, how about Sam Mayer and Ty
Fender,
Gibbs?
No fender. Yeah, Ty. I was bummed for Ty Gibbs. He got, I mean, he's trying to win these races and he's in the middle of the championship hunt. Noah kind of took him out, but
Well, my understanding is there was a pretty heavy brake check on the 8 car from the 54 car.
probably.
And those two hate each other, and they let it boil over in this race. And it was really, I talked about last week about
Eric. That's great for us moving forward. It's
great
for the series.
But I talked about last week how I thought that we're wasting Ty Gibbs' talent running him in the Xfinity series. But if he's going to get flustered by a guy he doesn't like, in a race like this, he's not ready for the Cup Series. He's got to get over that stuff.
Yep, you got to remember he's just a baby.
Yep,
he's only 18, so he's got a ways to go. He's super talented, super fast, but this was
those
a race
are gonna be
where
fun to watch.
Oh yeah, he could have won this race if he would have kept himself clean on the day. But
future, we're losing a couple Xfinity guys to Cup next year, but the future of this Xfinity series is looking pretty strong.
Yeah, we've got these two, and then we've got Josh Berry, kind of the veteran type moving up in the JR program. So yeah, we've got some good stuff with the Xfinity series. These guys aren't going away. We're it's like college sports. You get your seniors out of there, and you got this new crop of young talent coming in, or in the case of Josh Berry, old talent coming in. But
yeah, well, you got someone. Austin Hill's going to be no slouch in the RCR car. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Yep, yeah, and you got the Justin Allgaiers of the world, Brandon Jones, and we got some good guys racing in the series, man. Very good.
Yes, sir. And then I think we would call it a shit show.
Yeah, go ahead.
That the proper term?
We've given people enough warning that that's what it was.
This Truck Series race, I'll tell you, there's a lot of talk about lack of respect in the Truck Series. There's a lot of talk about lack of respect through all the series, but it definitely starts in the Truck Series. And you want to see a complete contrast of the finish we saw in that Xfinity race. James, I guess let me start with this. What in the hell was Stuart Friesen thinking? He claims he was trying to door bump Todd Gilliland to hold him back, but you don't door bump a guy in the left or the right rear tire.
No, he wasn't door.
He turns him into the wall. Anybody. And then goes into turn 1 and almost does the same thing to Zane Smith, but wrecks himself.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident he's trying to do the same thing to Zane. And they brought it up on DBC. What do you think NASCAR does in that situation? If he hooks 2 guys to race his way into the championship race, they got to step in right on the last lap?
I don't know what they do. It's the system they've created, but that was ugly. If you listen to this podcast enough, me and Stuart Friesen aren't simpatico, I guess. But it's just to be expected, I guess. He's not. I don't know. He's never been one of the cleaner guys out there, and that was pretty grotesque. But on his part,
it doesn't end there because this was a 200 lap race. It ended up being a 204 lap race with the overtime. 89 laps under caution.
Oh my God,
that's half the race under caution.
It was a bad race.
And it just never stopped. And especially once we hit halfway, man, it was just a demolition derby.
And
it was Corey like I'm a big fan of bump and runs, or bump and grinds, off-road derbies, I think they're called some places.
Yeah,
that's what this was.
Yep. Corey Roper was all over the place early. And then whatever the heck happened earlier in the race where we had all those trucks wadded up on the front stretch, that was a mess. Yeah. And then we had 2 of those thanks to I don't even know, man. It was a mess. And then my rant and my JA of the week is Austin Wayne Self for completely annihilating John Hunter Nemechek out of this race for God knows what reason. You don't hook somebody directly into the wall, no matter what's going on. That was just as ugly as it gets, too. I mean, that was probably the ugliest move of the whole weekend.
Yeah, I would agree. James, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When was the last time we talked about Austin Wayne Self on this podcast?
Right now.
You know why we don't talk about him?
Go ahead.
Because he sucks. I'll just plain out say it. He sucks.
He gets in trouble. He gets talked about. He does
not have business wrecking the championship favorite and almost taking him out of the playoffs. This is not only the bonehead move of this weekend. This is the bonehead move of the freaking season. Just stupid.
I was furious because I had John Hunter in our picks pool,
Yeah.
and I was like, "You got to be kidding me! My championship chance is completely over thanks to Austin Wayne Self. Are you kidding me?"
I was
so
furious that
mad.
I didn't even care that John Hunter Nemechek was out of the race.
I know. I was mad for John Hunter more than.
Yeah.
I mean, I joke about our picks pool, and I'll message the group chat about it from time to time. But John Hunter deserves so much more than to have his championship shot ruined by that. And thank God
I would have been
he got
so
in.
angry if he got knocked out because of that stupid move.
NASCAR's
and
really
he didn't
really
even deserve it, James.
this.
There was nothing about it. He moved Austin Wayne Self up out of the way. He just bumped him. The same thing that everybody does in the turns at Martinsville every lap, and Austin Wayne Self just wrecks him. Just flat out wrecks him.
Man, I don't even know, Eric. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever. I think it might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen. NASCAR's really got to watch this.
Yeah, NASCAR should have parked him.
Oh, for multiple weeks.
Yeah, he should at least sat out the rest of this race. He did not receive a single penalty for this. He should have been parked for this race.
Yeah,
especially because, again, we're talking about a backmarker driver. We're talking about a driver who never runs up front that just took out a playoff contender. It's just this sort of thing doesn't, and I'm not in favor of NASCAR policing things, but okay, so it's all right.
You gotta watch it. To
me, when you're at the cup level, it's kind of in the driver's hands. These guys are experienced. They've got the experience to know how far they can push it. This truck series is a bunch of kids. It's time to step in and show them. NASCAR, as much as I enjoy the cluster F, it is time, I think, for NASCAR to step up and put it to an end in this series. I will go back to James. We talked about Knoxville and how bad that race was. And I argued at the time, and I can't remember if you disagreed with me or not, but I know others disagreed with me on social media and stuff.
I hated it. Yeah.
I argued that same thing would have happened at Eldora as happened at Knoxville. It had nothing to do with the track. It had to do with the racers, and I stand by that. This is because it just happened at Martinsville.
Eric, you might have your proof right here because this crop of drivers in this series, I mean, this is a great series, but what we saw on Saturday was an embarrassment for this series because you guys got to be back. Like, you got just as young of drivers, maybe just a tick older in the Xfinity series, and you don't see this trash going on.
And the problem is, James, is it spilled over. Matt Crafton's not this type of driver.
No,
Johnny Sauter's not this type of driver, but they're having to do it too.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's not impressive. It's not a good look for the series. I'll tell you that. And it's the second most embarrassing thing that's come from the lower levels of NASCAR this season. We don't have to talk about the first one.
Right.
But yeah, this is, I don't know. I was not impressed with a lot of what happened, and Stuart Friesen doesn't surprise me. Austin Wayne Self doesn't. I mean, that doesn't surprise me, even though it does at the same time. That's just a bummer. I think we've got the right championship 4 out of this race.
Except for Sheldon Creed. Sheldon Creed should be there.
Yeah, I think so. Instead of Matt Crafton. I mean, Crafton's going to try to find a way to sneak another one of these titles. Yeah. He's another one who's won a championship without a race win, if I'm not mistaken.
He might have gotten one that season.
I'm going to look at that. Let me look that up. But yeah, I mean, Matt Crafton, the grizzled wily vet, he's going to take somebody's spot, by God. And he took go. If you got the sound here, he got Sheldon Creed. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, 2019, Eric, 0 wins, 1 championship for Matt Crafton.
There you go.
That is something. He's got 3 championships and a combined 3 wins out of those 3 championships. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. He's only won 15 races in this series. He's been driving in it for 22 years.
That's crazy.
But he's really good.
Picture him as a better driver than that.
Well, he had that one. 2015 was a monster year, and he didn't win the championship.
Right.
But yeah, I'm looking at his stats right now. He's awesome, but I thought he'd have more of a resume.
How many of those races that he raced in was Kyle Busch in?
That's yeah. Yeah.
So
good point.
I mean,
his average finish
back
was
then,
really good.
Back when Crafton was in his prime, there weren't a lot of truck drivers winning races.
Here's a great stat line for you. 2009, He had 0 wins, 21 top tens. His average finish was 6.7. Didn't win a race.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah.
But again, you had Cup drivers winning every weekend then.
No, back then, yeah. Yep.
So.
But yeah, that's pretty funny. 22 years he's been in that series. But yeah, I mean, I do feel bad for Sheldon Creed, but you get what you get. We'll talk championship probably in a little bit, but at least John Hunter got in. Same as Kyle Larson in the Cup Series. If those guys don't make the Final Four for their respective series, the way that they race it would be a disappointment. It'd be a Kevin Harvick situation.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Before we bust out of here with the Truck Series, just want to mention Tanner Gray with a 3rd place finish. Great run for him. Taylor Gray finishes 8th. Both of them with good runs. Parker Kligerman gets a 6th place finish in this one.
Yep.
Great run for him as well. So,
and Chandler Smith and Carson Hocevar are locked in, like horns locked for a great rookie championship battle. I think it's 3 points separate the two. So either Hocevar is going to get it or Chandler's going to get it at Phoenix. That's kind of a fun one to watch if you care about that kind of thing. But NASCAR nerds will appreciate that.
There you go. All right, James, let's talk some news. We got some news items, a lot of it today.
We do on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
How about that?
I know, which means who knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Hopefully it calms down. We have a championship to get to. So.
Right. I'll start with the one we already mentioned. We'll jump around a little bit here. Austin Hill set to join Richard Childress Racing for 2022 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. There was some hinting on Door Bumper Clear a few weeks ago about that a fan favorite driver, popular driver, would be running the other Richard Childress Racing car for the Xfinity Series. They revealed this week that it was Parker Kligerman was supposed to be in that ride, and something somehow fell through. But Austin Hill capitalizes on that and gets himself an Xfinity Series ride. Former Truck Series champion. Gotta think he'll be strong in that that car.
Yeah, and he's got to be bummed he's not competing for a championship one more time, but he's had a really good Truck Series career. It's time. You can't spend all your years down there. I mean, gosh, Eric, he's got the last 4 seasons full time in the Truck Series. So it's time. You got to either move up or move out.
Yeah,
so
either move up or be Matt Crafton.
That's right. Yeah, you don't want to do that. There's a couple of guys like Sheldon Creed's moving up.
Yep.
As well. So
Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, that's a pretty good stable for Richard Childress Racing next year.
That's a really good stable. Mayat Snyder, he's looking for a home. Sounds like he'll have some plans.
He actually, again, according to DVC, will be in a Richard Childress Racing affiliated car that is not Colleague next season.
Interesting.
So
interesting. Well, who would that be in the Xfinity Series?
I haven't done enough research to figure it out, but I guess it's pretty obvious. So whoever else is Richard Childress associated in the Xfinity Series.
Well, there you have it.
There you go. That's how much effort I put into this week's podcast. It's been a crazy week, guys.
Right.
Matt McCall will be the crew chief for Brad Keselowski in 2022 for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, whatever the hell they're calling it.
Yeah, I guess we'll have a Keselowski in there. For those not familiar with who Matt McCall is, very highly regarded crew chief, who's done really well with Kurt Busch over at Ganassi. Got a couple of wins the last couple of years, so I think Matt's gonna that might be a great combination.
Yeah.
Matt does a lot with, I guess, a little. He's got a great driver in Kurt, but Ganassi hasn't always been the cream of the crop. So I think Brad sees something he likes. Brad kind of gets to pick and choose what he wants to do here moving forward. So you gotta like the decision. If that's the man he wants, and Matt's not going to Trackhouse, then perfect. Bring him on in. Gotta like it.
There you go. Yeah, it's a good grab for sure.
Yep.
We got a look at the start times and networks for 2022 today announced.
Yeah, two of these news items, Eric, kind of go hand in hand. So I guess we can discuss them both. But boy, the start times, Bud, later and later.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little concerned. I have already been concerned.
Yeah, your buddy Pete Pistone posted on Twitter today that that the networks are pushing for this, and despite the fact that we're complaining about it, the networks are the ones that are seeing the numbers better at this, blah blah blah. And my argument is that the networks need to put some money up for some lights at tracks, because it sucks because you get a delay, And
You're racing on a Monday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that or you get a car that gets into the fence, you're cutting laps off, if you got to repair something. So,
Talladega situation,
yeah.
which was a complete disaster.
Yeah.
They learned nothing from that.
No. And I mean, this is the problem when it goes from who needs who the most. NASCAR needs the TV networks more than the TV networks need NASCAR.
Yep.
And because of that, the TV networks are making bad decisions. And
you bend to their will. Yep.
Yep. And we also found out that with NBC Sports going away, that the races that would start on or would be on NBC Sports next year will be on USA. This is one of those no news announcements because we kind of already knew this was going to happen.
And they're already running these races on Peacock.
Right.
If you're paying attention to that, these last couple of races have been on Peacock. You can get them on there. So yeah, I mean, it's just natural progression of what they're trying to do. NASCAR used to run on the USA Network back in the day. I remember that. It's been a long time.
We will run the last 6 Cup Series races next year on network TV on NBC.
Love that.
That's cool.
Lots of network races next year. 19 of them.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have a cable network to put them on. So, man. Yeah. So,
do you remember when they ran NASCAR races on FX?
Yeah.
Thinking of what that.
I remember when
that channel.
When the duels were on Fox Sports Detroit or whatever the regional
the local
markets.
affiliates.
Yeah.
Bally Sports now or whatever they're called. I think of FX now as like prestige TV. Like they've got all these like super like deep dramas that they're promoting all the time. I'm like, you guys used to race NASCAR on this channel. Settle down.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, when you only have networks to put it on, this is just all this is getting us ready for the streaming revolution down the road.
You just put all the NASCAR races on TNN. Come on.
Yeah.
Anybody remember that?
TNN, the Nashville Network.
Oh man, those were the days.
And then they thought they were too cool for NASCAR and Monster Jam.
The theme song. Oh.
Yeah.
Those are the days, Eric. TNN, Speed TV.
I don't know. I'm pretty happy getting my hockey back on ESPN this year. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Let's see. James, you got a story in here that I didn't even read. So you can go ahead and take it if you want.
Yeah, we'll be really quick. The NASCAR charter system seems to be paying dividends. If a charter is to be sold in the next in 2022, 2023. They will be valued at about $12 million a charter. So we've seen charters being sold for $5 and $6 million, as reported, in the past from charter sales. But there's value to these things, and seeing the price double since last year is pretty cool. I was
going to ask you, is that good or bad?
I think that's great because these owners have vested value with what they're bringing in. They can see that they can actually they actually have something worthwhile when they get these starting spots in these races. So
it also eliminates again, it's 2021, 2022 versus 1992, but this eliminates any chance of someone like an Alan Kwiecki coming in and starting a team up and having a chance in the Cup Series. It won't happen.
The only, I guess, thing that we've seen is how Trackhouse was able to kind of do it.
Yeah, but Trackhouse did it with a ton of money, whereas Kwiecki didn't come in with a ton of money.
Yeah, small team, big partners. Heck, even 2311, Eric, is a small team, big partner.
Yeah,
that's going to be the way to do it. Or you do what Brad Keselowski did and drive for 15 years, and then get yourself a shot with Roush to own as well. But yeah, it's you're right. It's the little guys aren't going to be around anymore. But honestly, Eric, the way that this model is going, little guys aren't going to be around anyway. So
the only thing that bothers me about it, James, is that we're reducing the cost with this new car significantly. We're requiring less people to be employed, and then the money is being spent somewhere else. Yeah,
you're giving the rich people more of a I guess chance to pocket their investment if they want to get out. Which honestly, like, I guess somebody getting something is better than nobody getting anything.
The other problem though is that
it's tough.
The other problem is that because of the charters, all you need is money to start, and then you can do a Rick Ware thing where you're not there on ability, you're there on money, and you're able to just keep collecting because of.
Yep. But the thing with the charters is you have to perform.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or they can get taken away.
We'll see.
Rick Ware's on the bubble here.
Yeah, we'll see what NASCAR does.
But Rick Ware is investing in trying to improve by partnering with Stuart Haas. I don't know how they're gonna do that.
Probably should have done that a while. Well, I mean, if you are gonna partner with a team, you should partner with the worst performing top team right now.
Yeah, right. Right.
No offense to Stuart Haas, but they're not exactly Hendrick the truth, quality.
Man. Yeah. Outside of Kevin Harvick, that team is
well, you say outside of Kevin Harvick, but who's got the wins in that team for that team this year?
No, that's true. I mean, Eric Almirola, that's it. But yeah, it's not pretty.
No.
But there is incentive to perform, and if not, and Rick Ware has to get out of it. But I guess I don't know. But Rick Ware is also, he's racing all sorts of things. So,
right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's good to a certain point, but you're a great person to talk to this about, because I know you've always pushed back on the charters, and I love that, because you don't hear a whole heck of a lot out of that opinion. So
yeah,
I mean, that's a good thing.
For a large part, I'm playing devil's advocate on it. I don't know.
As you should. Yeah, that's great.
I feel like probably the benefits the biggest thing for me is the argument that in the past, if you shut a team down, you had, especially let's look at this year. You've got Chip Ganassi Racing leaving with a new car coming in. All their inventory is junk.
Yep.
If the charter system wasn't there, they're leaving with nothing. At least they get to leave with the money they earned from the charters they sold. So
exactly.
There's definitely some benefits to it. I don't have the answer on what the ultimate solution is. And I mean, it probably is the best option right now. It's frustrating when you're going to see teams that can't get in because they don't have a charter, but there's cities that want an NHL team or an NBA team or an NFL team that don't get in because they don't have one either. So, I mean, it's just part of the game.
Yep.
So, go race ARCA.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
And I mean, that's the way to do it. You go start a truck series or an Xfinity series team.
Well, colleague.
Yeah, you don't have charters
GMS.
in those series.
GMS.
Yep. Maybe you shouldn't be able to just buy into the Cup Series. Maybe you should have to earn your way up and get
just like a driver. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
So, with that, James, we get to preview our championship weekend. Can you believe it's championship weekend already?
I can't believe it. Seems like not that long ago we were talking Daytona.
Yeah.
And heck, Eric, it doesn't seem that long ago we were battling through what was 2020 and that messed up season.
I know.
So wow, I can't believe we've made it to 2021 championship weekend. Pretty cool.
The off season went by really quickly, and this season has been a grind. That's for sure.
Yep.
I'm ready for a break, but before we do that, we go to Phoenix Raceway this weekend for the championship finale. Just a recap on picks this week. James, how'd you do on picks this week?
Well, Awesome himself took care of me on Saturday afternoon. Then the Ty Gibbs situation took care of me on Saturday night.
Yeah.
I did beat you on Sunday. I had Chase Elliott,
yeah.
So I got that, but I lost by 45. So I am now down.
I just wanted to hear you say it. That's all.
I know, it's great. I am now down 105 points with 3 races to go. It's not insurmountable, but the odds are not in my favor.
Probably not, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows?
James is going to take some swings here at Phoenix, and we'll see what happens.
I'm going to try to get some points here. We'll see what happens.
There you go. We start off with the Truck Series with the only sponsored race of the weekend, the Lucas Oil 150. James, who are you picking? Now, just to recap here, you can pick a Championship 4 driver if you would like.
Yes.
And we'll recap once we're done with our picks. We'll hit the Championship 4 and choose our champion.
Yes.
But you can pick a championship driver, but you won't earn any points because they don't earn any points in this race. So
That's right.
We will be picking non-championship 4 drivers for each of these for our picks. So James, who's your probably non-championship driver for the Truck Series?
Eric, get ready to play the sounder.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Do it.
Sheldon Creed.
Yeah, that's my guy. I'll take Sheldon Creed.
James is going out on a limb and taking the guy that won here last year. And won the championship.
Won the championship.
Creed.
Yes, sir.
That is a terrific pick. I am going to go with a guy with an average finish that's pretty strong here. let me just make sure really quick here that I'm making the right pick.
Well, you can't take Ben Rhodes.
Right.
I couldn't take John Hunter Nemechek, even though I if I wanted
No,
to.
see, it's a good thing I checked because I was actually going to take a championship driver.
Yeah,
no,
you gotta
no,
be
I'm good.
careful.
I'm good. It's not a championship driver. I'm looking at the wrong column. I'm gonna go Chandler Smith as my pick for this one. He's got a good average finish here. So
okay, so looking for the rookie of the year to finish the job.
there you go. Our championship 4 for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series: John Hunter Nemechek, Ben Rhodes, Zane Smith, who battled his way in at Martinsville to get in, and the old wily veteran Matt Crafton. We are going to pick championship winners as well, but there will be no points for these. It's just for fun.
Yep, just for fun.
And we can pick the same driver if we would like. James, who are you picking as your championship favorite here?
There's no way John Hunter Nemechek lets this one get away from him. He came down here to do this. Go get it done, John Hunter.
Yep, I'm with you. It's everybody else is racing for second in the championship here. It is John Hunter all the way.
It's him. Yep. This is it, man. You don't get it done, it's all for naught. This is what he came down here to do. So go get it done.
There you go. The Xfinity Series championship race, James. Who are you picking as your non-playoff driver?
Give me Justin Allgaier to win. I don't know if
Allgaier.
he'll win the race, but I think he'll be really, really good.
Terrific pick here. I'm going to also go with somebody who has a strong average finish here and just recently got knocked out of the playoffs, and I'm going to go with old Harrison Burton as my pick.
All right, so you're staying in the Gibbs camp / KBM camp.
Yep.
His last race for Toyota before he goes to the Cup Series.
Yes, that's a good point. Good point.
Yeah, and he should be really good. He should be good.
Should be fun.
I know it's killing you. You wish you could take Daniel Hemrick, but he's going for a championship.
Yeah, I actually would not pick him. So our final 4 in the series, we have Austin Cindric, AJ Allmendinger, Noah Gragson, who battled his way in at Martinsville, and the aforementioned Daniel Hemrick are our final 4. James, you think Cindric's going to close it out as we expected at the beginning of the season? You think somebody else is going to get this one?
I know we talked him up, and I'd love to take Noah Gragson in this race, but I'm going to go with my heart on this one because I want it to happen, and I'm going to say AJ Allmendinger gets it done. I want AJ to win the title. I will not be disappointed though if Mr. Gragson steals this one. I think that would be a heck of a lot of fun if Noah Gragson could pull it off. But I'll take AJ. He's been really good and won some big time races when it mattered. So I'll stick with that one.
I am going to go exactly the same as you, but in the opposite direction, in that I really also want AJ Allmendinger to win this championship. Would love to see AJ win it. It would be a fan favorite championship victory. But I got to go with Noah Gragson. I think Noah Gregson's on fire right now. I think he's peaking at the right time. I think he showed the maturity this past weekend to get it done and to be able to face what he's going to have to face in this championship race. And Noah Gragson is my pick for the Xfinity Series champion.
I love it. I would like to add John Hunter Nemechek's running in this Xfinity Series race.
He is. Yes,
so
he is.
Watch out. Your Xfinity champion might not win this race because that 54 car's got a wheelman.
I was gonna mess with you and act like I was going to pick John Hunter Nemechek for this race just so you get off.
Yeah, just to see if he can score. I mean, heck, the truck seas's over at this point. He should be able to earn points,
right?
In my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I agree. Except he's a Truck Series driver next year too. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
With that, it is the NASCAR Cup Series Championship race on Sunday. James, who is your pick for this one?
Oh, I don't know if this is the right pick, but I'll take Kevin Harvick to get some points for me. I know I battled with him or Brad Keselowski. Honestly, was the other pick for me, but I'll take Kevin Harvick.
I am going to go with the Hendrick camp on this one, James, and I'm going to pick old William Byron for this one. William has a strong average finish at Phoenix as well, so
he's starting to get a lot of strong finishes everywhere.
Yeah.
He might be a problem next year. I thought he'd be a problem this year, but definitely next year.
And then our championship for the NASCAR Cup Series, we have Kyle Larson, who has pretty much dominated the entire season, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, and old Chase Elliott looking for the repeat this week. Who are you picking for your champion, James?
So we got 2 guys who've got 1 title, and we've got 2 guys who've got 0 titles.
Yep.
Eric, I feel like Martin Truex Jr. is going to win this one, but I'm going with Kyle Larson. It is his season. He will not be denied. He wins his 10th race. He wins the championship. Let's go. Go get it, Kyle Larson.
I agree with you 100%. This is Kyle Larson's championship. It's been Kyle Larson's season. It's been the year of Kyle Larson. And for that reason, James, he is not going to win the championship this weekend. They said it on Door Bumper Clear. How often does the guy who's supposed to win this thing?
Not very often.
Unless your name's Jimmy Johnson, it just doesn't happen. Now, to be fair, he's driving Jimmy Johnson's old car for Jimmy Johnson's old team. But I'm going to say the guy who's pissed off this weekend is going to get it done. He got all of his bad luck out of the way. He got all of his choking out of the way this past weekend at Martinsville. And I'm going with old Dennis. Denny Hamlin is my championship pick this weekend.
I can't believe you picked him.
This is just as much me saying that I think he's going to do it as it is me saying I want him to do it, because as much as we might be irritated with Denny Hamlin right now, Denny Hamlin's career, the only thing he can do, the only thing that he can add to his career with is a championship.
This is it. This is his moment.
I really think, James, this is his last chance. I don't see him having another season where he's got this opportunity. He's had too many opportunities. He's getting to that age. He's getting to that point in his career and we got a new car next year.
Yep. Last race for this car, last race for this type of horsepower. We may never see 750 again.
Yeah.
I mean, Denny has had time after time. He's had a lot of chances to get it done, and he's not getting any younger. He's the guy at this point where he lives for this moment. Like, this is everything for him. He has nothing else to put on the resume. This is the one thing. It could be a destiny thing.
He put on social media, "Don't poke the bear," and I truly feel though that the boos for Denny Hamlin really will be fuel for Denny Hamlin.
Yeah,
I really do. I think he thrives right now on being hated.
And that's fine. Kyle Busch has had a lot of success doing that.
Yep.
So, and we haven't even mentioned Chase Elliott, who came here and stunk up the show last year.
Yeah,
I do worry that Martin Truex Jr. is going to show up and be really freaking good and steal this thing. He might be that guy that does it. I really have strong feelings about Martin Truex Jr. stealing this championship out from under everybody. Denny Hamlin flat out said this last week they did not have a chance last year when they showed up. They showed up with a slow car, and that was it. That's the one thing I believe in my heart, that Kyle Larson that 5 car will not be slow.
No.
And it's going to come down to execution. And that team has shown time and time again that they can be pretty flawless at times. And, maybe this is a year where Kyle Larson learns how to win a championship and doesn't actually get it done. But I just have a hard time believing that team with the extra time to prepare, they've had a lot more fun in this last round than anybody. They're probably feeling a little less pressure. I don't know. Maybe they're feeling more pressure.
Kyle Larson's first time in the Final Four.
First chance ever at a championship.
All 3 drivers he's facing have been in the Final Four before.
Yep. He's Chase Elliott last year, right? Never was in the Final Four, showed up and got it done. So
let me say this, James. We have 12 drivers going for championships this weekend.
Yep.
And I would say, no offense to Matt Crafton, but Matt Crafton is the only one that could win a title this weekend that I'd actually be disappointed with seeing that.
That's true.
Just because I think everybody else, not that Crafton doesn't deserve to be there, but Crafton has not been strong all season. The other 11, I feel like, deserve the championship very much so, especially in this Cup Series. These 4, I will not be upset with any of them getting the title. I do want to see a first-time champion this year. So I'd really like to see Larson or Denny get it. But I'd be happy with any of them. I'd be perfectly fine with most popular driver getting a second championship in a row. That'd be kind of cool.
Can you imagine the monkey off the back of Denny Hamlin if he could get this done?
He might just up and quit at the end of the season.
I tell you, Eric,
he might just say, "I'm done, man. I'm team owner."
What else is left? Yeah, I mean, this really is. I can't articulate enough how, like, he's done everything. So many drivers have incomplete resumes, Eric. You think about all the greats, like Kyle Busch, he has an incomplete resume. Tony Stewart has an incomplete resume. Brad Keselowski has done everything but the Daytona 500. He's got an incomplete resume. If Denny gets this one, he's got them all. He's got everything.
Yeah.
not many drivers can say they've got them all.
Brickyard.
And
He doesn't have a Brickyard 400.
well,
right? That's
well,
it.
does he? Maybe you're right. He doesn't.
He
have
does not have a Brickyard 400. He almost got the Brickyard win this year.
He almost got the Indianapolis win this year.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. But he's. I mean, I guess you put the Brickyard where you want in the history of time. But I mean, he's almost going to win 50 races. He'll probably win 50 races before his career is over. So
yeah.
Yeah, but he's literally done everything in this sport. So you got to think he's right there.
There you go. We will be tuning in this weekend to check it out, and we'll crown 3 champions this weekend at Phoenix.
Gotta love it, man.
Yes, we do. James, Fantasy League update. How'd that go this week?
Well, I made up some more ground on Ranger.
Yeah.
But not enough. It's been a fun season. I think it's going to end up, Eric, the same way it did last year. Ranger's going to get a repeat title. But Martinsville Speedway results: Hot Rod Todd was the winner, Green Eggs and Hamlin second, and I finished third. So that was great, but I only gained a handful of points on Ranger. Overall standings: Ranger still in the lead, 6,743. I am at 6,642. So I have to make up 105 on you, Eric, and 101 on Ranger. And then Tandem Draft Tone is a little bit behind me. He's 11 back at 6,631. That's it for the championship. Those 3 still have a shot. I would say our buddy Todd is a little bit out of range here, there in 4th place. And looks like he's pretty much locked into 4th place. So I think the front 3, I mean, I think Tandem's probably end up passing me. I'm going to take a big swing to try to catch Ranger, because I gotta pick some guys that can get him. But I don't know. I have to pick people that are different, and I have to hope for some luck. But it's been fun, man. It's another fun year of the Fantasy League. I know we joke that we hate it a lot. But
I don't joke that I hate it.
I mean, I do hate it sometimes.
I really hate it, James.
Yeah, there's times where I really hate it, but I cannot believe that we have a situation just like last year where it's closed up like this a little bit.
Yeah.
Ranger was way ahead last year. I got a little bit closer this year, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. So maybe congratulations to you for winning the picks pool, and congratulations to Ranger. And maybe I'll knock on wood and get myself a little bit of luck, because I need some major luck to win both this year. But I'll be happy with 2nd place. I hate it, but
I'm disappointed you don't go the Tony Stewart route and say, I don't even deserve to be here.
Should I delete the league right now?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, would that not be a power move?
Oh man,
just delete the league.
It would.
No, you need to wait. You need to wait until about 10 laps to go and then delete the league.
Well, I told you about my other fantasy league I've been in for a long time, and I've pretty much got that championship locked up. So I'm gonna have that big gaudy trophy coming back to my house with my name on it. It's been I think 6 years since I've had that thing, so that should be fun. But at least I'll do one. At least I'll win with something around here. It's been a rough go of it as of late.
All right, shout outs. I kind of hinted at mine already, but I'm gonna just pretty much shout out Dirty Mo Media with Jeff Gluck being on Door Bumper Clear this week. Great episode, nice long, 2.5 hours long. If you got some time to listen through it, some good stuff. I always enjoy when Jeff is on any show. He's an entertaining guy. And then we mentioned the Burton podcast too, that's coming up for Dirty Mo Media. Gonna be a real cool deal. Real inside look at the Burton family, and didn't always get along over the years.
Yeah.
So, and I think we'll see some influence on how it's affected the kids, Jeb and Harrison as well. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, that's awesome.
You got any shout outs this week, James?
I was going to so I subscribed to Sports Business Journal, and if you
did you subscribe to it so you could read that one story?
I did.
That is awesome.
I
shout out to Adam Stern for getting James to
going.
Subscribe, man.
Yeah, I really wanted to read that story, and it wasn't not that it wasn't worth it, but I wanted to read it. So I
that is so
I did.
That, as a person that works in journalism and is trying to we have stuff behind the paywall that we're trying to get people to subscribe for. Adam Stern is my hero right now.
Yeah, he's done really good work on the business side. He gets a lot of good information from I don't know where. But they do good work.
How much does it cost to subscribe to the Sports Business Journal?
It's not much. I haven't gotten the first bill yet. It's not much. They wanted to sell me a like a business thing because I signed up
Right.
under the Super Speedway. I'm like, oh, I'll just throw it out.
Nice.
I'm like, no, I'm just one person. So I'll let me ask me that question next week when I actually get
All
the
right.
bill back. It's not much. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's a
Maybe
few
I'll pull the
bucks.
trigger on it too because I appreciate the work that he does. And I'd love to help fund what he's doing. So
Yeah, no, it's cool.
if the money could go directly to Adam, that would be perfect.
Yeah, Adam does great work. I throw like him and Matt Weaver have done some.
Yeah.
Jordan Bianchi with the Athletic along with Gluck. Like those guys are doing really good stuff.
Yeah.
So continue to help them out if you can.
Hey guys, man, support all these guys that are doing something different. Like I said, I've plugged the Athletic a lot. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but just to support these guys that are putting the effort in to cover our series. The Athletic has a section of its site or its app devoted to motorsports, and that you can't ask for much more than that. There's a lot of much bigger organizations with a lot more money that don't have that. So, support all of them. If they're writing about our sport, we want to support them. Even the Jim Utters of the world.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jackass Corner, James, you got a Jackass Corner for me this week?
Austin Wayne South for personal reasons.
There you go. No elaboration on that. We've already elaborated on enough.
Everybody knows what he did.
All right.
That's it.
And then I really wanted James to pick the entire truck series for my Jackass Corner, but I'm gonna go a different direction, and you're gonna be very proud of me for this. I am going to pick as my Jackass Corner for the week the person that decides to post something stupid on social media and then delete his Twitter account. Old Matt DiBenedetto. I've given a lot of support to Matt DiBenedetto over the years. Really appreciated what he's done, but he makes a bad take on social media, retweeting the Kyle Busch sensitivity training thing, whining that the entire Earth is in permanent sensitivity training, and then deletes his Twitter account and whines on Instagram that everybody else is mean. So there you go. Matt DiBenedetto, you're my Jackass Corner this week.
I just don't understand the what I don't like is he wants to he hides behind the cloth.
I was gonna say you're trying to come up with a sensitive way of saying it.
Yeah, I want to be sensitive with it. I don't like hiding behind the cloth. Like I am a Christian man myself, but I don't like using like your religious beliefs and then doing something like that. Just doesn't make sense to me. Not that Christians can be sinners.
Right.
We say things, but I just don't like how he goes about his business sometimes. So he's no longer on Twitter.
Yeah, for now. Like I said, the biggest thing to me is Kyle Busch already said something stupid, and then you go and piggyback on it and say something stupid yourself, and then blame everybody else for being mean to you. Come on.
Yep.
Enough. It's not. At some point, Matt, it becomes not everybody else's fault. So.
I know.
Speaking of social media, James, you still have a Twitter account. Where can you be found on social media?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find old episodes of the podcast, show notes, links to articles we discussed, past race coverage, photos, all that stuff. Thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, wherever you found us today. We hope you subscribe and continue to listen. We'll be back next week to break down the championship weekend from Phoenix Raceway. Prepare to go on a little hiatus, probably. We do have to figure out how we're going to get our fantasy sports winner on the podcast as well. So we'll work out those details as well.
I'm trying, Eric. I'm trying to win the thing.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out. I don't know if we'll have him on. We probably won't have him on for the championship weekend, but we'll maybe do a off-season podcast and do an interview.
Yeah, we've got some off-season stuff kind of lurking. I sent a couple of messages actually on LinkedIn today, Eric. I'll say this on the podcast. So hopefully we'll get some messages back, and if not, I'll try again once the season's over, when people maybe are a little less busy. So
sweet.
Using LinkedIn. So there you go.
If you get something good out of LinkedIn, you will be my hero, because I've so far found no use for that site whatsoever.
Find me at LinkedIn.
Yeah, there you go.
On LinkedIn. There's my social push.
Add James on LinkedIn.
At James on LinkedIn. Ugh.
Yeah.
You can see what we really do.
There you go. All right, we'll be back next week to break it all down. And until then, everybody, let's go racing.